Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Georgia Smith. I'm Deputy Director for Communications and Research at the Idaho Department of Labor, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to share some of the lessons we've learned during our journey into the social media world. Lesson 1, take social media seriously. I think the most recent statistics on Facebook probably underscore this point the most. A few years ago, Facebook had around 500 million users. More recently, it's been reported that they have more than 1 billion active users, or 93% of all Internet users, which is pretty significant. And there's also been a recent survey by a company called eMerge that shows that 91% of adults use social media regularly, and they spend 3 times longer on social media sites than checking email. But when it comes to using social media to look for work, it's a completely different story. 88% of all job seekers have at least one social networking profile, and nearly half of those people use social networks every day in their job search. Nearly a quarter of job seekers have also been asked for social media information during job interviews. For employers, it's a different picture. Over 90% of employers used social media in their recruiting and hiring process in 2012, and 2/3 said they recruit via Facebook. Over half said they used Twitter, and almost all of them said that they used LinkedIn. 20% of them said it takes less time to hire people when using social recruiting, but recruiting isn't the only thing employers are using social media for. A Career Builder survey of 2,000 people showed that 39% of employers use social networking sites to research job candidates. 19% of those employers said they found information that influenced their decision to hire, and 43% said they found information that factored in their decision not to hire a candidate. So what do these numbers and Facebook's phenomenal growth mean for state workforce agencies? It means if there's some buzz out there that one of our agencies is having trouble processing payments, or perhaps a one-stop is closing its door, it means that putting a press release out on the wire is no longer the fastest way to respond, and that the height of a crisis is certainly not the time to be setting up a social media site. It also means that we as state workforce agencies have a responsibility to help our customers know and understand how improper or illegal use of social media can adversely impact their business or their ability to find a job. Lesson 2, make sure you know your customer. Knowing your audience will help guide the creation of your goals, your strategy, your plan, and training program for social media. One of the great things about being involved in this tri-state social media pilot is that all 3 of the states have the ability to survey their businesses, job seekers, or staff on their respective comfort level and use of social media. We just finished our social media research, and we're in the process of adjusting our strategy and our platform and messaging. And we're also developing a training plan for businesses, job seekers, and youth. That said, all of the channels currently have some pretty good metrics built in for understanding your audience, and we'll touch on those a little bit later. Lesson 3, make sure and have a plan. If you decide to enter the world of social media, you need a plan grounded in research to guide your way, or you will get lost. Our current strategy includes, again, conducting an audience analysis of businesses, job seekers, and youth, analyzing how social media is used by other state workforce agencies, reviewing how social media fits with our current agency outreach and messaging efforts, developing a management and staffing strategy for each channel, establishing a voice and a tone for our posts, training our staff and customers, and measuring the analytics for effectiveness and return on investment. Lesson 4, make sure and develop workplace policies that your employees can follow. There's a survey out there of 1,100 people that was conducted by Silk Road Technologies last year, and it showed the vast majority of employees do use their mobile devices to check social media websites daily, despite any sort of company policy. It also showed that 3 out of 4 workers, nearly 75%, accessed social media on their job from their mobile devices at least once a day, and 60% accessed it multiple times. That's why developing a policy for our staff with guidelines on how to use social media was one of the first steps we took. We knew we had people using social media at work, and from talking to them, what they needed and wanted most were some guidelines on what they could and could not do on the job and how they could best use this new tool to serve our customers. Lesson 5, train your staff and empower your people. So now that we know our employees are on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, it's in our agency's best interest to make sure our staff know how to use it properly. That's why it's not enough to just have a presence and a policy. You need to be prepared to train your employees constantly because social media changes constantly. You need to have training sessions with mock scenarios, and you need to teach them how to deliver great customer service online. At the Idaho Department of Labor, we have a community of practice that's made up of employees from our local offices, and all of these people are active social media users. They come together monthly by phone, and we meet in person quarterly to discuss best practices, share work products, and agree on work standards. We also have a SharePoint site where our staff can access our policy, our plan, and social media calendar, and where they can communicate and track various posts. Lesson 6, content is critical. If you have a social media presence, just being there is not enough. Social media sites that aren't active or kept current do not last long. Companies like Career Builder, Monster, Undercover Recruiter, and others pump out professional-grade news articles, feature stories, and videos every day. Social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are the channels they use for pushing that content out to their public, and they use traffic-generating tactics like search engine optimization to increase viewership. Good, shareable, consumer-driven content is what will allow all of us to better connect with our customers, but it also means you need to have someone in charge who thinks like a newspaper publisher or a television producer, someone who can help create new content that revolves around your customers and the benefits they'll receive from your products and services. In our case, our employees are our best resource. We encourage them to share what they know. Several of them have created posts featuring hard-to-fill jobs, answers to frequently asked questions, blog posts about and for older workers, interview tips for job seekers and youth, labor market information research results, and updates on our economic indicators. Lesson 7, understand the concept of a social media conversation and figure out how it will apply to your organization. Social media is often characterized as a large universal conversation on any given topic. And the only difference is that the conversation is taking place in a room with more than 1 billion other people. Understanding the concept of a universal conversation means you engage with your customers when they post comments or questions. It means acknowledging negative feedback, and it means adopting transparency and leading your conversation instead of reacting. One way to do this is to create comment policies for each platform, a set of rules, if you will. You need to make a decision. What kind of conversation are you going to have with your public? Is it going to be adversarial, or is it going to be positive and constructive? Examples of a comment policy include what your subscribers should expect if they use your platform to try and sell something to your followers, or if they use profanity or speak disparagingly about another person online. We also use our comment policies, which are posted in each platform, as a way to help our followers understand what kind of issues we will or will not address online. For instance, it's not unusual for us to receive a comment on a post about unemployment insurance from somebody who wants us to look into their specific claim. And of course, we cannot discuss that in a public setting, so we try to let people know that through the comment policies. Lesson 8, monitor, measure, and adjust. Social media changes constantly, which is why you need to monitor, measure, and adjust accordingly. You monitor to keep up on the latest news, the current trends, and what other organizations are saying about your agency. You measure and review the metrics to review your return on investment, the quality of your posts, and how your customers are reacting to your content. Almost all of the social media channels have search features that will allow you to see what other entities are saying about your organization. They also have built-in metrics that tell you how many subscribers you have, what their ages are, their gender, their location, and how many may have seen your most recent post or clicked on a link. You need to look at the metrics. Use them to understand the nature of the popular conversations, the volume, and the topics discussed. Identify what your subscribers appreciate and what they don't like to read about. And once you've reviewed the metrics, be ready to adjust your plan, your platform, and your messaging based on what you learn. For us, it's recognizing that our followers wanted fresh content and new job posts as opposed to just reposts from other sources. We also learned through our research that most of our customers use Facebook to connect with family and friends. So as opposed to just putting a post out there about a job, we encourage people to share those posts with their family and friends. So it's just another way of leveraging some research. Lesson 9, be authentic, engage, and use photos. You need to humanize your social media platform. The most successful social marketers become part of the lives of their followers. They follow back. They handle their customers' problems with their product or service, and they involve themselves in their own social media communities. It also means that when you mess up and make a mistake, you need to own up, show remorse, and tell everyone how you plan to fix the problem. And remember, photos are the hands-down winners when it comes to boosting engagement scores. People love to see themselves online. When we posted some images taken of people in one of our timber mills, viewership accelerated. So we've spent the last couple of months gathering even more photos and plan to show more photos of Idahoans at work in the future. Lesson 10, be ready to respond. Social media is all about transparency. When customers vent or get angry in the social media world, it's important to publicly acknowledge if there's a problem and let them know you are addressing the incident as quickly as possible. You also need to remember that in this business, social media followers will bait you. For us, it was a post by a reporter about discontinuing benefits, and then next it was a post from a disgruntled claimant about lazy state employees. When that happens, you need to step back, think, and decide the best course of action before you act. Sometimes it will be to just ignore the post and leave it alone. In other instances, it may be to agree to disagree and move on. Either way, you need to do your homework, understand who it is you are talking to, and understand the magnitude of the damage that's possible as a result of their influence. So for instance, if you have an angry post from somebody who just started their Facebook account a half hour ago and has no followers, you would respond differently to somebody who's had a Facebook page for several years and has more than 500 friends. If necessary, you don't want to wait too long before apologizing or addressing an issue online after a mistake is made, because reaction to social media fallout is measured in hours, not days or weeks. And remember, the absolutely worst thing that you can do is to not respond. Things happen fast, and you can't have your head in the sand. Just remember, there's never any justification for treating a customer with disrespect. And finally, understand social media's limits. Social media can be an accelerator of existing services, values, attributes, and plans. It can even be a catalyst for change, but it can't fix a broken job search engine or poor customer service. While our logos and the content of our outreach materials are certainly important, our employees will have a greater impact on our brand more than anything else. And in the state workforce world, the core of our brand is really the difference our employees make in how our customers feel between the time they come in our office door after they lost their job and how they feel when they leave. So remember, if you have a fundamental problem that's getting in the way of serving your customers, don't think you can fix it with social media or outreach. Fix your problem first, and once you've got a good product to talk about, the positive messages will flow. Well, that's all I have for today. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you for your time. And if you aren't involved in social media and would like to see how it works, please feel free to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And also, check out our blog. It's called Idaho at Work. If you have any suggestions for content, or if you have any questions about this presentation or social media in general, please don't hesitate to call or send me an email.